This is my review and installation of the Wild Boar complete front bumper fitting your 2007 and up JK. Today we're going to talk through the installation of this bumper, which is a 1 out of 3 wrench install. This bumper does come in a couple of pieces, so it requires a little bit of assembly on the ground before bolting it onto the Jeep, but even so, a very easy install that can be done with some hand tools. You might just have to tack on an extra hour of time, probably taking around 2 hours to get this one installed. But we'll talk more about that install in just a second. This bumper is for those of you that are looking for something that's different from your average everyday aftermarket bumper. There are a couple of other bumpers on the market that have as much tube work up on the top of them as this one does, but it's definitely the exception and not the norm. So because of all of the holes in the front of this bumper, all of the styling and all of the tube work, I would definitely put this in that love it or hate it category. If you love it and you have the budget for it, I think this is going to be a pretty well built option for you. As far as the construction goes, this is a pretty heavy-duty steel bumper. It's not a modular bumper in the sense that you can customize which pieces you put on it or change those pieces out as your build grows, but it is modular in the sense that it comes in a total of 6 different pieces that you have to assemble first. This bumper does have a winch mounting plate right on the front of it, so that's something that right out of the box it is going to have that feature. And this bumper is also going to have a lot of different places to mount auxiliary lights. It has a spot for your factory fog lights. It also has a couple of other holes for some aftermarket lighting that you can put inside the bumper as well, which will give you a nice clean look, as well as some holes up on top of the bumper for even more lights. As I said before, this does have a lot of tube work. These tubes on the outside here are what really set this apart and make it a little bit different, where this front hoop is something that you see on some other aftermarket bumpers, and even this hoop up here has some light mount tabs on it. Again, a lot of places to mount lights on this bumper. These pieces on the side here that are bolted in place, these are still going to be steel as well. They do have some sort of epoxy sealant on the back side of them, which really makes them one piece. They're not necessarily designed to be removed, so it is more of a styling cue that they are set apart and not just cut into the rest of the bumper wings, that they are a separate piece entirely. Now, while this is going to be basically a full width bumper, this is designed to give you tire clearance. Even if you have 35s or even a 37-inch tire, you should have clearance with this bumper. I am going to give this a 1 out of 3 wrenches for its installation, but it might take you a little closer to 2 hours to get this installed, as opposed to around an hour for most other aftermarket bumpers, because there is a little bit more assembly with this one. Now, the first step in any bumper install is, of course, removing your factory bumper, and you'll do that by removing the fog light sockets from the fog light housings, unclipping the fog light wiring harness, remove your splash shield and your frame guard, and finally unbolt the bumper and remove it from the Jeep. The next step is going to be bolting your fog light housings into your new bumper. You'll simply unbolt them from the factory bumper and bolt them into this one. Then you can do the rest of the assembly of this bumper on a bench or on the ground. You'll install the wings, the front hoop, and these outer hoops as well, getting everything snugged down. It's going to be a lot easier to install these on the ground or on a table than it is to install them on the Jeep, because you can get to all the mounting hardware a lot easier. Of course, you could do this on the Jeep if you chose to keep things a little bit lighter. Once you have the whole bumper assembled, just lift it up, set it on the frame rails, and go ahead and bolt it into place with the hardware that's included in the kit. Again, it will take you a little bit longer to get this bumper installed because of the additional pieces that you have, but it's still a very easy bolt-on install that anyone can do with some hand tools. This bumper comes in at just shy of $1,200, which definitely makes it one of the more expensive front bumpers on the market that doesn't include lights with it. Some of the other bumpers that have a lot of other light mounts will have the lights with it. Of course, that increases the cost. This bumper does not. Now, it's still a very well-built bumper. It is a lot of metal, a lot of tubing, a lot of manufacturing that goes into this bumper, and I'm sure that attributes to that higher cost. If you like this look and you have the budget for it, I think this is a well-built bumper and I have nothing bad to say about it. However, if you have a lower budget, there are some other bumpers out there that are going to have similar or even more features for a little bit less money. So if you're looking for a bumper that's going to set your Jeep apart from the crowd, give you something that's a little bit different than most of your aftermarket bumpers that are on the market, this is going to be one of the options. This is definitely a love it or hate it bumper, but if you like the styling, it's definitely going to set you apart from the others. So that's my review of the Wild Boar complete front bumper fitting all 2007 and up JKs that you can find right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.